What is up, guys? It's Verns back here again with another Supercoach video. I know, I've been a bit MIA from my channel as of recently. Look, we wanted to do NBL stuff and then they killed it, so we didn't. It's that simple. Very disappointed there, but look, we've got NBA hitting and I'm super excited for it. First of all, shout out to Boz because maybe we will try and rectify the mistake today. Me and him did like an hour and a half recording for the Supercoach Swordplay podcast last night, and a lot of knowledge from him because, as I mentioned in that, which you guys won't see anymore, is that I don't really know the NBA players too much. Like, I know the big names, but I don't know like a lot of these middle tier guys or not top end guys. And Boz has a lot of good knowledge for that, so he was really going through that with me and really breaking it down for everyone. And it was honestly a really good recording. And then I went back to listen to it before I uploaded it today and realized it didn't have his audio, which is super disappointing. I know you're sitting there thinking, Vern, how could you let that happen? I'd like to say that I did do a little test beforehand. It wasn't working, so I improved the audio, and then I did a test again, and it seemed like it was working. What did happen, though, is I just tested my music out, and my music came from my speakers on my screen, where he was actually speaking through my headset, and clearly the speakers on the screen were getting picked up, but not the speakers in the headset. So we did this hour and a half recording for absolutely, I say no reason. He definitely helped me. I definitely feel a lot more confident about the stuff I'm doing, or at least he's throwing up some question marks for what I need to maybe consider instead, and something we will go through today, as we will do my team reveal. I hope he got something from it, because I did mention some strategy things that I'd been considering, and I feel like that was a bit of a, he sort of sat there and went, hadn't considered that yet. So, you know, definitely a few bits of input I managed to give him, so hopefully that helps him a bit and it wasn't a complete waste. I'm hoping tonight, we're meant to do the NBL podcast for a Game Day Squad, but I'm kind of hoping maybe we can just go through a quick team reveal with him, and we can do a really, like, just really a team reveal for him for the Supercoach Swordplay podcast, and maybe a very brief other discussion, or maybe some things I can bring up throughout the team reveal, so there's a bit more information there than just the straight team reveal. But yeah, just really disappointed there, and I'm so sorry, Boz. I know you'll listen to this, so I appreciate you. But I would like to thank all those that have tuned in, those that have liked and subscribed for the consistent injections of Supercoach content directly into their YouTube feed. Yes, I know, as I said, it hasn't really been happening recently, but I will try and get these out each round. Now, with this, it's going to be very hard, because some rounds there's like a 12-hour turnaround between games. You know, games will be finishing on a Sunday at like 5 p.m. and then they'll be starting up at like Monday at 10 a.m. You know, you'll have a very, very quick turnaround, sort of like the BBL style, but there's not even like 24-hour notice. It's literally like 12. So it's going to be really hard to obviously do podcasts and stuff like that. Me and Boz will try and do stuff for the Swordplay maybe every 2-3 weeks or so, just to sort of update everyone with how he's going and things that we've noticed. But I'll try and do at least mine on my channel each round. As it might be hard sometimes, you know, you're just not available in between those 12 hours that you have to sort of make the video. But you know, even if you miss the kickoff, maybe don't worry about that and still do the video. But yeah, we're going to jump into the team reveal. Most important thing, I guess, when you're picking your team, as I think fixture is so key. I love looking at that fixture and really using it to help guide my team. Now, we know how Supercoach works, and you have a 3-game price increase sort of rotation. So there are some teams that in week 1 only have a 2-game. And the rest of the teams have 3 games. So if the team's on 2 games, they're not going to have a price adjustment. So you can always play a little bit safer with those. It's something me and Boz went through yesterday, and it's very unfortunate we lost it. I guess a good example would be Ace Bailey. He talks about Ace Bailey not really wanting to go to Utah, and there being a bit of drama there, and us just not really sure if he was going to be the rookie we want him to be. Now, the good news is Utah have a 2-game starting week, meaning his price isn't going to change, so you can actually avoid starting him, start maybe someone else, and then if he looks good in those 2 games, or he looks like he's going to be a good rookie, you can pivot to him without losing anything. It's literally a no-risk reward situation, because if he ends up bombing, then you're not on him. Obviously, he's a rookie, very minimum price, so it's not a big deal if he does, but you could be on a different rookie. Even if that rookie just makes $500,000 and you realize that's not the rookie, they're going to be very slow burn. Ace Bailey's going to be a good rookie. You make the pivot, you pocket $500,000, Perfect. Amazing. Great. Easy upgrade. Sorry, easy move arounds that way. And you don't lose anything. And you definitely want to play him on your bench because he only has 2 games to start. As we know with Supercoach, when you have multiple games in a week, it will accumulate. So if you play 3 games, you'll get the 3 games points total together. So we definitely want to be on the guys that have that good fixture. So we will jump into the team and sort of what I've been doing. Now, this might be a little bit messy because, as I said, I don't know all the players. And after talking to Boz yesterday, I actually kind of want to change my team a little bit. So it ends up a little bit different. And I'll see how we go. And if it ends up a bit clunky here and there. Now, we will just start off in the point guard line. Look, we've got Shea up in the point guard line, and I've got to be honest, this is almost impossible to look past Shea, purely off the fact that when you look at the fixture, OKC have like the second best opening run that you can possibly have. The only team with the best run is Golden State that have a 3-game week into 3 4-game weeks. So the only team that has that, incredible run. OKC, it's not too far off though. It's 3-game week into 2 4-game weeks, then a 3-game week, then another 4-game week. So not quite as good, not the best run you can possibly get, but actually not a bad run. So yeah, Golden State guys actually kind of premium if you do know any of them or think any of them are going to do well. It was good. Boz actually brought up a couple of them that he actually rated yesterday. And it's definitely making me consider them now. He does think Butler going to Golden State is going to be a lot better for him, and at the end of the day, Butler isn't like crazy expensive, so I think he could be good too. So I might look at trying to get Butler into my team. I'll give you a TLDR, he's not in there just yet. A lot of my information comes from either work colleagues. I listen to the Insight Fantasy Sports, so the Basketball Fix, I think that's what they're doing. Something, I forget the name they're calling the basketball thing. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. But yeah, just been listening to the information around and trying to get it. Obviously, the information from Boz yesterday, and they're all different, opinions and perspectives, and I really value that. But, Shea kind of having the best run you can kind of have as one of the best players in the game, like that just speaks value to me. So right now, I'm going to put Shea in the lineup. And this is where things are getting interesting because this is where I've got to consider. Right now, I technically have Shea and Luka there. I know, little bit wild, but a lot of people talking about Luka being underpriced, especially with LeBron out. So I kind of have them both there, and you'll see that I've kind of gone a bit of a guns and rookies approach, as you can sort of probably tell already from how expensive these guys are. Jumping to the rookies, we're going to put in Edgecombe. I did look at the stats for his preseason games. Yes, he only has 2 games to start, but he just looks really good. Coach Bob was saying the coach is giving really good reps to this kid, and he potentially has even the starting spot in his on his team. So kind of seems like a no-brainer pick. Even with 2 games, you can't not pick all the 2-game guys, because as much as it's an unlimited trade format, you're still going to only have your, I think, 2 trades a week with potentially a boost. So if you only have 2 trades a week, if you don't start 3 of the guys on the 2-game week and they all become viable, you might have to burn a boost early. So right now I've got Edgecombe there. We're going to jump down to the shooting guards. And this is where I start trying to hunt a little bit of value. This is where I go Jalen, not Jalen Brown, actually. I go Derek White. Here we go. I'm going to throw Derek White in there. Obviously, Tatum being out, I think Jalen Brown and White will have good upside. I believe Boz was talking about Pitchard also having really good upside as well. So maybe another one to potentially consider. My mate at work who's a Boston fan is honestly just like, Brown's our best player, White's our second best player, like, get them both. So, you know what, I'm going to put faith into that man. Shout out to you, Luca. He is a Boston fan and he loves his NBA, so he's feeding me good vibes, and I'm going to back him in. Now, the second one here, it's going to be Nymphard. Now, my understanding is he is underpriced because he should have a starting role and had a good end to the last year. So a lot of people sort of on him, and he's at that cheaper price tag. If we can find budget guys, that's really good, because honestly, the rookie spread, it doesn't feel like there's a large amount of them, which makes the life really hard. Now, jumping down here, we will be adding another rookie here. Now, I did have the Spurs rookie. Now, there is actually a few good guard rookies you can kind of choose from. You have Harper down there. Obviously, we already have Edgecombe. You have Demon. And then the one that actually Boz has is Shepherd. He really rates Shepherd as a player. Obviously 22% owned, so he's not the only one that really rates Shepherd as a player. And he had experience last year, so he's going to be a bit more fresh. Houston kind of going through a rebuild, my understanding is, so more opportunity for him. So we're going to throw him in there. I feel good about that. We will jump to the centers. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to just change up who's in my center right now because everything's getting a bit messy with the way my team was previously. I probably should have figured out how my team was actually going to look before I kind of jumped into this, rather than looking at my team and going, yeah, I can make some changes on the fly. We're going to put Adetokounmpo there. So the Greek Freak, very obvious, looks to be underpriced. If he's not underpriced, he's just kind of one of the best players in the league. I think he's going to be the round 1 captain for most people. And with the way this format works, it does definitely reward those guys that aren't shot chuckers. You know, if you're the guy that takes a low percentage amount of shots a game, maybe you scored 12 from 18 from the field, you only get the -6 because you do get -6 for missing shots. So -6 for that, but if you've made 24 points, it's +18, and Adetokounmpo does all the other things as well. So what we kind of love about that. Free throws would be a bit better. That would be great, but such is life. Previously, I actually was on Sabonis, and then Boz told me he'd done a hammy. I also realized, shout out to Arson Dragon, he is a really, really good fixture analysis, and he did have a few errors, unfortunately, in his last one, so he did just upload a new one. And previously he had Sabonis having the god tier rug. He had Sacramento having the same run as Golden State, but they actually don't. They have 2 3-game weeks and then 2 4-game weeks, not a 3 and then 4 game weeks. So since he no longer had the god tier run, I thought I'd jump off, but then Boz pointed out that he's actually done a hammy anyway, so jump off him anyway. So I've jumped off Sabonis there. This is where kind of the flyness comes in, because now Sabonis is going, Adetokounmpo's flicking up, and I'm probably going to look at some of the players that Boz mentioned. Something that I think is also super important to take into account is round 2 fixture. Now, if you haven't seen the fixture, but Pelicans' run from the round 2 fixture is just like insane. Like, they have a 2-game week to start, but then they have a 4-game week, a 3-game week, and then 4 4-game weeks. So they have a period where they have 5 out of the 6 rounds are 4-game week rounds. So they're guys I want to be pivoting to in round 2. So I want to try and make sure I am leaving myself in a position where maybe I can get to these Trey Murphys, the second, I believe that's his name, maybe a Zion Williams. Yeah, maybe one of those guys. Even, I think Messi is someone that did well over here in the NBL matchup, but I understand, obviously, that's not going to be it's a preseason game, and you're not going to take all that, but I believe there was an injury to the Pelicans lineup where we're expecting Messi to maybe get more minutes. He's a baseline rookie, so maybe someone I can pivot to on round 2 as well. I actually don't mind burning a boost between round 1 and 2, and I know that sounds ludicrous to people, but if you can get to a 2-game rookie that clearly is going to make a lot of cash, and they haven't had a price adjustment yet, I think that's just going to be worth it. Even a premium that's underpriced, or a mid-pricer that's underpriced that has a good fixture going forward. So I think definitely guys to keep my eye on going forward. Now, it's going to be Jock Landale that I'm throwing in here. I know you're going to look at this and be like, what's going on here? Look, it's one of those things that when you talk to someone like Boz, it's hard to not listen to all his reasoning and be like, man, this guy gets it. But my understanding is Memphis actually have an injury in that center spot, so we're expecting Landale to have increased minutes, and he is someone that obviously has been good in the past. He's on the older end now, but if there's minutes available, he should be able to score points. This Colin Murray-Boyles guy hasn't really been playing the preseason. The one preseason game he played, he got stomped in. So yeah, someone I'm not really hot on. And then my other rookies, I kind of need them for down below. So we will jump onto the small forwards. Yeah, here we go. We're jumping into the small forwards. Thank you, game. For a second there, I didn't think it was going to let me. This is where a little bit more of my tinkering, I think, comes in. Because now that Antetokounmpo has jumped to my center spot instead of Sabonis, and now I've got a position available in the small forward spot, I think I'm actually going to be looking at a Jalen Johnson. Someone that Boz was really hype on. He really likes what he does, and he's just unfortunately someone that's injury prone, but for everything Boz understands, he's had a good preseason so far. He's basically played all of it, so he should be good to go at the start of the season. Someone that can obviously score points there as well. Now, Atlanta have the OKC run, the amazing start to the season, 3 games into 2 4-game weeks and a 3-game and a 4-game week. So not the perfect run, but the next best thing. So Jalen Johnson's been thrown in there for now because I back in my boy Boz and I respect his opinion. It's also a bit of a juicy pod too, down on 2% owned, so kind of like that. The next one we'll jump down to, it's going to be Jaylen Brown. We've got both the Boston boys in here. Both of them potentially underpriced with Tatum out, so we do love that. Now, jumping over to the bench. Where is our bench, guys? Dun, dun, dun. Okay, now this might be where things get a little shaky for me, because I'm wondering how much extra money. No, Sabonis going down should save me $2 million. But I feel like I made a shuffle of my players. Because when I'm looking at this, I need to make sure I'm choosing the right guy for this. Oh, yeah, here we go. Yep, now it's Nipple. He is the person there. Charlotte obviously in a rebuild, and he had really good preseason games, so I was happy with what I saw from him, so he can start on my bench. Now we'll jump down to the power forward spot. Now this is where, we're starting to run into some cash issues, so got to see what I can actually fit here. So first of all, we're going to put Cooper Flagg in here because he's the obvious no-brainer pick. He should be 100% owned. Looks like he's going to get good minutes and probably be 10 million minimum scorer at a 5 million price tag. So we love seeing that. Yes, we'll take you, Cooper. Jalen Williams will also be here. Now, Jalen Williams, for those that don't know, Supercoach made a mistake. He has been in the league for about 7 years, and they mistook him for a rookie. So he is literal bargain basement price for a guy that should have been worth about 7 million. So in reality, it's like, why wouldn't you put him in your team? Like, he's guaranteed to be underpriced. He's probably going to play, and it's free. Even if he's a slow burn because he's not a huge point scorer, and somebody that maybe when he has the opportunity can clearly score. I think Boz mentioned he actually got a triple-double when he did get the opportunity last year when a few injuries happened. So, someone that we're going to throw in there because it just makes so much sense. Now it's about filling out these final spots, though. So how much cash do I have left at this current time? 10 million. That's enough for about 2 rookies. Things getting a little bit choppy for me here just because of the way I've set things up. So we'll talk about maybe making some adjustments and trying to save some cash to maybe make some other moves. I'm going to throw Ace Bailey there purely off the fact that I just need a rookie. And at the end of the day, he still might be a very viable rookie. Yes, you don't have to take the risk on him, but when I look at these other rookies like Colin Murray and whatnot, I'm not sold on them at all. I'm a lot more sold on Ace. And then I guess we have to sort of fill in this flex position, which becomes a bit awkward there as well. What did I do to run into such money problems? I think the answer was I brought in Shea. Previously, I didn't have Shea. I had Porzingis and Sabonis. And I've definitely put myself in some money troubles here. What I think I might want to do is we're going to go Shea out. Wish this was working a bit more cleaner. This is a little bit annoying. We're going to go Shea out. We're going to go White out just so I can move White up top. I know you can use a substitute, but it doesn't always work, and I'm just trying to get it moving across. I want to say this isn't my internet. I want to blame it on the Supercoach website. I swear that's always dodgy. Let's add White here. I don't want to blame the... we're just going to leave it at that. Cleveland have a really good opening fixture too, so that's why a lot of people are on Donovan Mitchell. Can't quite see him because it's a little bit janky here. Can we get a little bit further down? Come on, we can do this. Okay, you know what? That's just cooked it hard. What I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh, because when I refresh, it should just show the team that I basically had anyway. Before I was trying to make adjustments to it. So this is sort of where the team ended up previously. And I'm actually not too... I was never happy with the Castle and Randall picks. They just sort of ended up there because I was trying to figure it out. And we'll notice I'm missing Blizzis. I forget his name. The Chicago guy, 600 million. The reason I'm missing him is that he has a 2-game week to start. So I feel like that's once again a zero risk reward situation where you can just not start him, start someone like a Castle, and then just pivot down to him, bank 3 million, and then that 3 million can help me move someone like a Randall to a Zion Williams the following week. So we dodge the guy on the 2-game week. Maybe we make some money off these guys. Maybe they have some good starts, and then we just pivot them very easily. But I've decided against that, so we're not going to do that. Right now we see Harper in there because I hadn't made the move to Shepard yet, who does save me like 1 million, which makes life a bit easier. So we will move out Castle, Randall, and I think Shea. I think I want Shea over Dontich though, just because Shea has the better fixture to start. Dontich has the, I think, 3-3 before a 4-game week. No, he has a 3-4-3-4, where Shea has the 3-4-4. So that's kind of just better to start. So I don't know. Let's try and figure that out. For now, let's just throw in some players that I was considering. So we did actually talk about our boy getting talked up here. He must be a small forward, actually. So we'll move Jaylen Brown down. Okay, Brown, you can go down. Jaylen Brown. And our small forward, we mentioned it. It's going to actually be Jimmy Butler. Just because, once again, God fixture the start, which is amazing, but Boz actually thinks he's really underpriced. He feels like he, sort of whenever he gets upset with his team, he plays really poor to force a trade, and that's sort of what happened. So now he's been moved to Golden State, and now Boz reckons he's going to bounce back and be really good. He is someone that's pretty heavily reliant on scoring, but he is someone that obviously can score big buckets, so you know what, good fixture. I feel like at minimum, if he plays to his price tag with a good fixture, that's not a loss. That's perfectly fine. And is he going to play worse than that price tag? I don't think he will. So, at least I'm hoping he's not. I feel like Boz talked him up enough for me to feel confident. So, Boz, this goes bad. It's on you. Now let's try and get in. So, Jalen Johnson we wanted in. That still leaves 12 mil for us to sort of move a flex position in. We can move Harper down to Shepard as well. Shepard. Perfect. We can actually move... So we needed to move you up, though, unfortunately. Can we go Landale? Yep, we needed to move him up. Now, the only thing I think is a little bit awkward with this team is we have Flagg and Williams kind of on the field, but other than that, I think I'm pretty happy with most of the guys we have on field. It leaves me at 12 million to sort of play with here, and that's sort of an awkward amount of money because there's a few guys a bit more expensive than that I like, and then we kind of, we drop down below it, and I'm just not happy with these guys here. Hey, there's Missy. I talked about him. I thought this guy was rookie priced. He's actually a bit more expensive than I thought, but potentially underpriced if he has the role. This is where things get awkward because I just don't know these guys. This is where my knowledge really gaps, and I just don't know these these average guys. I only know the top end players, so it gets a little bit awkward here. Now, saying that, we're apparently looking at centers only, so is there anyone that really stands out for me that I could grab at 12 million? That might be what I have to figure out, unfortunately. George, Poole, Lopez, Beal. All right, well, that's going to be something that I'm going to have to figure out for us team to sort of finish up my team. For the moment, we'll just throw Bullis. What's his name again? We'll see it in a second. Here we go. Bizelis. There we go. Bizelis into the team because the plan is to pivot to him on round 2. Now, as I said, I would like to sort of move out Ace Bailey and Bizelis. It leaves room for me to pivot to Bizelis round 2, but then I can maybe also go to Ace Bailey. I guess the only thing that becomes awkward there is I do want to go to a Pelicans player. I sort of mentioned that earlier, that I want a Pelicans player in my team. I just don't want Bazella sitting on the bench here and having to field any of these rookies. These guys I really just want on the bench, hopefully accumulating cash. I'm not even really happy with Jalen Williams on field because he can be pretty unders a lot of the time. We do miss Shea coming into the start of the season, which could be extremely punishing early in the season, just because obviously most of the competition's on him. I think if we look at ownership percentage, Shea is up at the very, very top. He might actually be below Dauntage, but he has a better fixture. So, oh my goodness, it's taking forever to scroll. Scroll, there we go, at the top. Cool. So we can see, yeah, Dauntage at 36, Shea's down I think at 22, 23. But technically the better early fixture. Dauntage maybe presents more value though. So yeah, it becomes a bit hard there. And I know this is kind of waffling on at the moment, guys, because I really wanted to figure out how to sort of finish or round up my team. I guess with Bezelis, it does leave 6 million, so I can make that switch if I want. A few other players I maybe want to look at to consider, but I'm not too sure. I'll go relook over the video with Boz. As much as his audio's not there, I can at least see his team. But yeah, I guess that'll be the team for now, guys. Look, if you want, come ahead and join my... I'm just going to save this for at least now because I think it's still looking better than the team I had. Come and join the league here. Now, it's going to say Vern's YouTube. I actually need to make an adjustment to this. We're going to adjust this to the Supercoach Swordplay, so if I'm able to actually just go in here and make an edit right now. I think just me and Boz are in it at the moment. SC Swordplay. So come ahead and join that. You can see the Podmasters groups and overall there, but it doesn't show you the code, which is good because I don't want y'all seeing that code. Here we go. Swordplay is there instead. Now I can go ahead and change the image for that, so I'll get that arranged too. But that's the code, as you can see, 779588. Come join, play against me and Boz. Maybe we'll force DR to join, maybe not. We'll figure it out. But till next time, guys, I appreciate all those. Peace, later.